Good morning. Today is the 19th day of Elul on the Jewish calendar. And this week we read Torah portions, actually combined Torah portions, Netzav and Vayelech. And this weekend is the Shabbos before Rosh Hashanah. The Rosh Hashanah is the following Shabbos. So we're really in the home stretch here. And we're also in the home stretch of the Torah, the home stretch of Moshe's life, because the narrative of the Torah, the 5 books of the Torah, of the Scripture, it follows chronologically and narrative-wise, starting from Adam and going through Abraham and Sarah and so on. Then it goes through the journey of the Jews in the desert, from Egypt and through the desert, up until they enter the Promised Land, which is really not until the next book, the book of Joshua, which is not the 5, what we'll call the 5 fundamental books of Scripture, the 5 books of Moses, what's called sometimes the Pentateuch, is the Chamisha Chum She'Torah, the 5 books of the Torah. So the first 5 books of Torah goes through Moses' life, his passing in the desert, in other words, the latter section. Moses' life, passing in the desert, and it ends with his passing. And he is speaking to the Jews here on the day of his passing. And the entire 5th book of the Torah is talking to the Jews within weeks of his passing. And it's very, very, it's poignant, and it's a leader, a parent who has been with the Jews for over 40 years. Their ups and their downs, the challenges, but he loves them, and they are his destiny. And they and their journey, and the Jewish people's journey through history is what Moshe lives for. And he tells them on this day, and I'm going to read it from the Scripture itself, it's in chapter 30. He says, this mitzvah, this commandment, or actually this program, the Torah program that I'm giving you today, we got it at Sinai, but there was a reaffirmation of the commitment, of the Jewish commitment to Torah now as Moses passes on. He says, this, it's not hidden from you, and it is not distant. We have a complex, very nuanced Torah lifestyle, which is beautiful, but certainly from the outside it looks like you got to jump through a lot of hoops. He says, don't think it's so hidden, which means that not understandable, not appreciable. Our distance. He says, it's not in heaven for you to say to yourselves, who can ascend to the heaven for us and take it for us, so that we can listen to it and perform it. In other words, not some lofty thing that we have to look for someone to make it accessible to us. It's accessible to you, to me. That's what Moses says. As you're crossing out of the desert, you're going into real life. You're going to have all the challenges and static in real life. Recognize Torah is accessible. It's doable. And nor is it, he says, so it's not in the heavens, nor is it across the sea for you to say, who can cross to the other side of the sea for us and take it for us so that we can listen to it and perform it. Saying, obviously this is the metaphor, you think it's in the heavens, it's across the sea, he says, don't think it's so out of reach. That's what Moses wants me and you to hear. It's not out of reach. He said, rather, this is very near to you. In other words, very accessible, the Torah life, in your mouth and in your heart to perform it. It's doable. Now this verse, first of all, it's a poignant little piece, but the verse itself, for this matter, the Torah lifestyle is accessible to you. It's near to you. It's not so distant. It is approachable and not unapproachable. This is the verse which is the basis, which the founder of Chabad, the author of Tanya, which is the textbook from which Chabad philosophy flows, says it's based on one verse. And the verse is this verse. Because Chabad philosophy is about trying to make closeness with God, closeness with meaning, closeness with our higher selves doable. Not for saintly people, for me and for you. And that's what the Tanya gift to the world. Be able to have people like me and you, with all our challenges and our backgrounds and our baggage, to say, this hour, I'm going to lead myself. I'm going to be in control. control of myself, and I'm going to be, to the extent I can, and I'm going to commit myself to being who God created me to be. And the next hour is another commitment. And we go day by day, morsel by morsel, but it's doable. There's a human tendency to say, I just can't do this. Or, well, maybe if I'd gone it that way I could do it, but I can't do it now. Moses says, don't fall into that trap. He says, as I'm dying, as I'm going to pass on, I want you to know, don't fool yourself into thinking Torah is not approachable. Try it. Try it. Take a slice of time and say, I'm going to be who God created me to be. See how it works. And life is made up of a bunch of slices of time. And the mindset of us telling ourselves we can't is sometimes the greatest foe we have to self-improvement and to really tapping the riches of life. As we approach Rosh Hashanah, especially, let's do a great day.